Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar on integrating your service desk with Microsoft 365, Chatbots, and Microsoft Teams. I am Scott Restivo, President and CEO of Crow Canyon Software. I will be presenting this, and we also have James on board who will answer questions. So just to make a point that you can put any questions you have into the question box in the GoToWebinar screen there that you have, your control panel. You can put in questions and we'll try and answer them during the webinar. And if we can't get to them during the webinar, we'll answer to you directly by email afterwards. We also will have a recording of this session available for download, and we'll send that out to everybody who registered. Crow Canyon Systems, Crow Canyon Software, has been around for 21 years. We've been doing help desk and business applications and service desk and all kinds of core business applications for that time on the Microsoft platforms. We are doing currently working a lot in the Microsoft Office 365 space, Teams, and SharePoint. We do have functionality that works on premises as well as in the cloud. So if you are on SharePoint 2013, 2016, 2019, we have business applications and our Nitro Studio that runs in that. But I think primarily if you're joining this webinar, you're probably on Microsoft Office 365, and we have full-fledged set of capabilities on that, and we're bringing Teams and SharePoint and Office 365 as one whole collaboration platform, utilizing that all to produce what we do. And what we do have is business applications. We have a set of about 12 applications, core ones that you can get out of the box and put into place very quickly. We have Nitro Studio, which is our application creation platform. We'll go into that at some depth today. You can use that to build applications, or a lot of people are using it to replace legacy form solutions such as InfoPath. Also, they're using it to replace the SharePoint Designer workflows, 2010 workflows that are being phased out rather quickly on the Office 365 world. And we did a webinar last week or the week before on that talked about what's involved with replacing SharePoint 2010 workflows with Nitro Studio. We also have a lot of information on InfoPath replacement with Nitro Studio. But in this webinar, we're talking primarily about the portals, bots, and Teams integration that comes in Nitro Studio. I'd also point out that we build custom solutions as needed. Done a number of those over the years, various industries across the world, different types, government, nonprofit, education, manufacturing, whatever, every kind of industry out there. Pretty much we've done some kind of custom solution. And then we have the AI and bot services, which are new features that are coming out more and more and putting them to use in our applications. Crow Canyon is also a preferred partner on the business applications of Microsoft 365 business applications. We're a preferred partner, and we're a California certified small business there. So jumping right into it, Nitro Studio is the no-code application creation platform that we created. It's been around for about 5 or more years. It runs in the SharePoint on-premises and also in the Office 365 and Teams world. Brings you forms, workflows, reporting, portals, modern UI or classic, responsive designs, chatbots, AI, database integration. And you'll see some of that during this webinar as we go into what its capabilities are, particularly in the Teams integration and the bots and the portals. So just to give you a kind of diagrammatic view of it, there's SharePoint and Office 365, kind of the base foundation of our applications or your custom solution. Then you could add on the Nitro Studio with forms, workflows, actions, portals, and all these kind of features that are needed that we have realized over the many years we've been doing this are needed inside of applications in order to make them fully featured and fully functional. We make that available so you can build applications that are highly customizable and highly tailored to your particular needs, as well as we use those to build our applications, and those can provide a great range of functionality for business purposes that you have in your organization. Like you may need a help desk or asset management or purchasing, whether it's a simple thing like making a request, or whether it, request for a leave or a request for a new purchase or myriad of many other types of requests that come in, or it could be a full-fledged service desk, a help desk situation. So it goes from simple to complex depending on how much we implement of these applications and the functionality that you need in your organization. And so, like Like I was mentioning, you can also build your own applications out of this. And you'll see some of this in the webinar. Some of you may already be familiar, perhaps even using Nitro Studio already. So what we're going to talk about today are different service desk models and how it's evolved. This will be quick. Don't worry, we'll get into the demos. But this is just how it evolved from basically email was the original being when electronics first started and the internet started going. Email was really how people started doing help desk situations or service desk or request management. And there was no SharePoint, there was no Teams, obviously, at that time, way back maybe 15, 20 years ago. So when Crow Canyon first started, we were primarily working in the Outlook world, making it so that people could use email effectively. This got them beyond SharePoint or even just paper, whatever at that time, into an organized system. But there are limitations to email, using email to do service desk. It's a free form text. It doesn't have any structure like a form does. The users are out here and the application's over there. So there's no really it's insight or view into the status without communicating, back and forth. This is back and forth. Always think of it like you're outside the, castle wall and the help desk is inside and you're just tossing things up over the wall. Like, how's things going? Well, it looks okay, tossing this like information back and forth over the wall, but there's no engagement from the end users directly with the system. So there's limited collaboration options. We all know that, won't belabor it. I think we wouldn't be in this webinar if you didn't know there were better ways to do things. So then SharePoint came along. The idea was to build a SharePoint application, which we did all the way back from 2007 on. And that gave the users the ability to interact directly with the SharePoint backend. So now there was a logged in user interacting directly. They could get status, they could see their tickets in progress. They could use a form to fill it out. So it's a big step over email. Now you could still use email at this time. People were using email to communicate back and forth, but the direct access to the SharePoint backend gave people sometimes too much access. You have an HR system, you don't want everybody to see who's being terminated or who's getting reprimanded or whatever. Of course, and there's HIPAA laws and all those kind of things. So you had to really lock down the permissions, and that became an issue to keep all the item level permissions and list permissions, really strict. And then it's a busy interface in the back end. It's good for admins and staff, but for end users, it gets to be a little too overwhelming. So from that, we moved over to this idea of using portals. And the portal gives them a way to be in SharePoint or in Office 365, use a nice, friendly, engaging, good-looking portal, highly configurable, either in the modern or classic UI. And then that would be the interface that they would engage with, and the portal would engage with the back-end SharePoint application. We have that going on in many situations, and people configure the portals to be specific to their needs, given the users a friendly, intuitive interface that's also responsive, but also given the staff isolations. The only show in the portal, because it has kind of a security proxy of some manner that says this user can only see his or her, these users can only see his or her tickets, or maybe only for their department, whatever way you want to security restrain it. You can do that with the portals because they don't have direct access to the back end without having to worry about item level permissions and all the the overhead of keeping that maintained and the easiness of messing it up with the permission. So the portal gave it a very good way to engage with the system and keep users fully engaged, doing collaboration, seeing the status, but also limiting their access to all the content that's in the application. So that's a very good model. We'll look at that a little bit today. The next that's evolving right now is using Teams, though. This is really cutting edges on Microsoft Office 365 world. Of course, on premises you don't have Teams, but you can have portals and other features like that. But in this webinar, we're focusing on Office 365 and Teams. So now Teams puts in another way to engage. This is quite interesting, and you'll see this when we talk about a Nitro Studio Teams integration and the bots that we're doing. This is a really interesting and exciting way to move forward and really advances the service desk. So now they're engaging with a bot and through Teams. Now, let me mention, the bot does not have to run in Teams. Our bots can be independent of Teams. We make our bots run in Teams, but we can also make them run in a web, on a mobile app, or whatever. We can talk about that at some other time, but in this webinar, we'll talk about bots inside of Teams and how they work. So the users engage with the bot. The bot they can raise a question and the bot will try to answer it. If they can't answer it, it'll move them into a ticketing situation. So now we've gone through like a way of engaging and interfacing with the users that gives them some possibly an immediate answer, which solves the problem of them tying up their time trying to wait for an answer from the staff, and also frees up the staff from having to sit there to answer what are essentially routine questions that can be answered through engagement with a knowledge base or other data source that provides the answers just from the query through the bot that the user makes. So it's quite an advancement. We're getting way beyond email or even the direct SharePoint access to now the Teams integration. So we look at our applications now, not necessarily as SharePoint applications anymore. They're Office 365 Teams applications. You can do most of the functionality you need to do inside of Teams. It's highly interactive. It can answer the question, guides the user. And also the other point is going to be for one application or multiple. The bot can say, okay, what app? I'll show you this. It says what application you want to engage with. It could be IT, HR, purchasing, some kind of work order system, whatever. And it would then guide them through that path. Okay, now you have a question about this. How can we, how can we give you an answer or guide you to the place you need to go? And then this almost becomes, I should have had our market, our designer shrink this down to almost nothing, because this back end becomes really only something that the admin has to deal with. Admins do still deal with in order to set up the parameters and settings of the application, but all the engagement is done out here. So I think next time I do this slide, I'll make this small, the help desk screen small, and this larger, just to show that this is becoming predominant a way of engaging. And this is there, certainly very important, but it's not what the people are engaging in unless you're an admin. Of course, you can go back there. And like I said, I went through these different models of email, SharePoint, portals, and bots, but the point is that you can use any of them in combination. People can still send in emails. People can still use the portals if they want, or they can use bots. So it's a lot of flexibility in that. So rather than belabor all that, let's go directly into the three things we're going to talk about today. Application and self-service portals, friendly, intuitive web pages for users to engage with the service desk. Then we'll talk about Nitro Studio Teams integration, and I'll demonstrate how through Nitro Studio workflows, we can create a Teams channel, send messages to the channel, and send adaptive cards. And then I'll go into showing you the self-service bot and the staff support bot. Two different bots. One is self-service bot, and one is the staff support bot. And these are interactive bots, and better to see them than to talk about them. So the first thing we'll talk about is portals. Here's a portal, like kind of example of a classic portal. And I'm going to switch out of the PowerPoint into the actual, see here it is in real time. That was the same picture, right, on the slide. So here is the actual portal and the HR request. So you can create this in many, many different ways. There's a portal settings here. We do this a lot for people, or people do it themselves actually. They can go into the portal settings and make many, many changes to the portal according to the settings here on how they want it to look and what the background images are, what the tiles say, what the logo is here, what the colors are, even the footer, header and footer. So many ways to configure this portal to be very specific to the what your users will react to. See, this is very different than the SharePoint backend. They're now entering a leave request, or this is kind of an HR-oriented one, I guess. So there's family members, add family to insurance, or make some changes and whatever. This kind of thing, they can do it through this nice, friendly interface versus, say, a backend that looks something like this, HR request. Like, how do you navigate to find a new request and all that? So that's the difference, back end, front end. So these portals are really interesting, engaging, kind of intranet style. And again, it could be for one application or multiple. We have the employee self-service portal that will have multiple applications running, so people can engage with all these different applications through one interface that looks friendly. Now, this is one particular expression of it, of the portal, what it could look like. Here's another one that's, same kind of concept of there's, a nav bar and quick tickets, but done in an entirely different way. Whether you like it or not, or the style, more important is to show that there are a lot of variations that can be put into the portal according to what your style guide is to the corporation. The point is to make it so that the users feel like they're used to it, or it's friendly. It's something that is courting what other things they're doing on your say your intranet or whatever, you know, the same kind of colors and images and styles and fonts. And so you can bring that into play. Now we're looking at a classic UI here. There's also the modern UI. This is a simple modern UI portal, again with the, you know, nav bar and the links and all that. But this one is quite a bit more flexible, you might say, to modern UI, because you can go in here and edit it, and then you can start to add web parts of all kinds into this portal. And now if you've worked with modern UI pages, you'll know what I'm doing here. This is where you go to web parts, and you can add any of these web parts to different sections of the page, and then that helps enhance that page with whatever particular things you want to put on it: text, images, even maps, you know, image galleries, and it's got all kinds of things. But also you can go to here to where it says other, you know, enlarge that, and you'll see that Crow Canyon has a number of modern UI web parts that are available, very specific to application functionality. You know, you want to show your catalog of services, you want to show a dashboard, you want to show one of our dials that show how many tickets are in there, HTML text, a knowledge-based search, which by the way uses natural language processing to bring the search, you know, results. All these different things that Crow Canyon, list search. So we enhance the ability of the modern UI pages, if using it in a portal or a dashboard, to bring in these elements like reporting, you know, different tiles. So we're in the mix here, and we have a whole page here. If you go to our website, there's a whole page on our modern UI web parts and what they do and how they function, and you know what you can do with them. So that's a way we can enhance the portal to be really specific to the needs of your organization, or you can do it. You can take this and just add on what you want, or configure different tiles, different colors, different reports, different menu items, put in something from like images or whatever is appropriate to create that interface that users need in order to actively actively engage. Because you know, one of our first principles of application design, we have 3 principles. So the first is to engage and empower users. Engage and empower users. The users users are the ones using your application, obviously. So what you want to do is make it so that it's easy and engaging and gives them the information they need at their fingertips, and easy to navigate. So that's a very important element of application design, is to have this UI that has the engages and empowers users. And in case you're curious, the other 2 aspects of application design are, one is using workflows to streamline and automate business processes. And the third is using reporting and dashboards to generate analytics that drive continuous cycle of improvement. So you got your UI, you got your workflows, and you got your reporting and analytics. Put it together, you got a really good application that can serve your business quite well, improving operation efficiency and automating business processes. So this is one element of working the UI right here, the UI side of things. That's our portal. I'm not going to go too into depth in that. If people want to know more about the portal, engage. In fact, if you want to know more about any of what we're doing here, engage with us at sales@crowcanyon.com, ask questions, you know, get in touch, and we'll show you more and more what can be done with this. But I didn't want to belabor portals too much, because I want to jump into the integration with Nitro Studio. And it's right here in the slide. I'll bring that right up. Hold on. Okay. So what we have going on here is, switch this over, swap presenter. So Nitro Studio Teams integration. Okay, our Nitro Studio consists of quite a number of components that can be used to build the forms, the workflows, the custom actions. But today we're talking about the Teams integration. So one aspect of Nitro Studio is how it integrates with Teams. You can send a message to a channel, you can create a channel, or you can send an adaptive card. Okay, rather than talk about it, let's see it in action. So I'm going to set up a certain scenario here. I'm going to go over to show that there is a team right here. Let me bring it over. Okay, we have this James. This is James. This is a test environment. We have it going with a Microsoft Teams. Of course, you have your Teams launch bar over here, you could say, and you have chat, you have Teams, you have calendar, all these things that if you use Teams, you're familiar with. And one of the things you have are channels. So here's a bunch of channels. You have projects, all these different channels. Well, these are teams, I mean, with channels in the team. So this one is a projects channel, projects team with these two channels. So there's a projects team, there's a general channel, and a server move channel. So what I'm going to show here is that, and I'll just slide this out of the way, and we'll go over to the project manager tool. This is the project manager right here. And we're going to create a new project. What happens is this: we're going to create a new project. And this could be any new item, but in this case, we're using projects as an example. When we create a new project, it's going to create a new channel in a particular team. In this case, obviously projects team, which only has the two channels in it right now. We're going to create a new one. So it may be the scenario here, is that you want to create, for each new project, you want to create a new channel. There may be other uses why you want to create a new channel, maybe in support, maybe in other reasons, but this seemed like a good one to show in the demo. So there'd be a project, and it will add one right here. So I'll go ahead and create a new project. Here, move this out of the way. Okay. And I'll call it Move to Office in Building 1. And all this stuff about client, and that really doesn't matter for this demo. This is more just, you could, if you're really doing a project, you'd want to fill that all in. But let's make James the manager. And start date, status, none of that really matters for this demo. I just want to show that when I create this project, it's going to create a channel over in that Teams there. So we now have moved to, let's see, let's minimize that and move this over, and we're going to get moved to Office in Building 1. So let's see what if it actually happened over here. Refresh this. Okay, it's supposed to show up here. Did we turn that off to embarrass me during this demo? It should be move to Office in Building 1. Okay, so let's find out what's going on. Why it didn't create it. I think there is we'll go to Nitro Studio for this. We'll go to Nitro Workflows. And we'll find out what's going on here. So create channel in Teams is what we're doing here. We set it up. We said when create channel projects, when an item is created, we're going to go over here and we're going to create a Teams channel. We're going to create a channel in the projects with the project title of whatever. This is a placeholder for the title. Now, I think what happened is I may have created this earlier and it doesn't want to create one with the same title. So let's go here and give it a new one with a different title. Let's go to a new project again. I think that's what happened. So let's go here and call it move to, oops. Let's call it a move to building 2. Let's see if that does it. I wonder if that's because I just did this right before the webinar and it created it and then I deleted everything. I wonder if Teams is remembering the channel name and thinking like, I don't want to create a channel with the same name. I wonder if that's what's going on. Yeah, see, it just did it. That must be it. I'll learn something new every day. Here it is right here. Move to Office in Building 2, right? It just was created just now. And look at that. That is interesting. It's always good to this is why I like doing these webinars, again, because you find out so much about what is and isn't. So that's really interesting because I had something with the same name just an hour ago. It probably hasn't cleaned out the memory that there was a channel here, an hour ago called Move to Office in Building 1. And so they're good to create Move to Office in Building 2. So there you go. So you see that it created a channel in this projects team with the title. You could put some other name for it if you wanted in there, with the title that was of the project. So there we are. So we look there, there's nothing in it, of course, but here it is ready to go. And so if we open that up, this one right here, okay, one thing I have to do first, because I changed the name, I have to go to my custom actions. I set up a custom action in our Nitro on this projects list. And this projects list to put a custom action that when the title is moved to building and office 1, well, move to Office and Building 1, I am going to have a ability to send a message to that. So let me go here and just update it to message to Building 2. So here we go. So just that. Okay, this is our custom actions tool. What it does is it puts a button on the form, the Nitro form. It'll put a button or up in the list ribbon, and that will say, do this action, send update to channel. So it wants to send an update to channel. And I configured the update to be an HTML message that has a project status and due date. Now you could configure this to be any message you wanted. It's going to send it to a particular channel. It's going to send it to move to office in building 2 channel, this message. And you see what our custom action is very flexible. You can make it an email, you can do different teams, different channels, different message types, but you're sending basically an update by pressing the custom action button on the form to create a message to that channel. Now you can do this in workflows automatically that says every time the status changes or every time there's an update, send a message to that channel. So right now there are no messages in this channel. But if I go over here to the not projects form and I do want to send a message to it, I go here and open this up to this one in display mode. And it's going to be a ribbon button, one of our custom actions called send message to channel. This action here was created in that custom action I just showed you. And the configuration of that custom action determines what takes place when I push this button. So if I want to send message to channel, I'm sending the message that has the project status and due date on it, and it's going to send it. Now this confirmation screen you can hide. It's one of the options in our custom actions. And now we go over here and here we go. It says right here, Pavan, who has logged in as, sent a message by pressing that button to the channel. So we demonstrated the create a channel in Teams when a new project's created by using the Nitro workflows. We now send a message to this channel, it could be any channel, but we happen to send it to this one that will using the Nitro custom actions. You could use the Nitro workflows to it also. So you see that we're getting this interaction between your application, the project, say in this case, the project manager and team, so that they can see status updates or make notes or comments, and then they can collaborate in this channel, as well as having the project details in the back end SharePoint application and work it from here, whether they want to create subtasks or who's the manager, status. All that's another story. If you want to see the project manager application, we can show you that in more detail. We use that for a number of things internally. We also use it, a lot of our customers use it, and we also use it to manage workflow and info fast replacement projects to make them into projects that are then managed through this system of keeping people up to date. Now, what the great advantage that we've added on this, and this could be for not only project management, for other types of applications, is this Teams integration. So you're creating channels and you're sending messages, and also you can send adaptive cards to Teams that give information. And I'll go into that when I talk about the bots. The bots will be the next thing we talk about in this. So let's go into that. So we covered, admittedly, this is brief kind of overview, but we covered the portals to some degree and showing you that this is a way to engage, a friendly, intuitive way to engage with users with the applications that are highly customizable, whether classic or modern, responsive design. That also in the Nitro Studio, once you put our Nitro Studio in place, you can use the workflows and the custom actions to integrate with Teams by creating a channel in Teams or sending messages to Teams. But now we're going to show what the bots can do, and that takes it to like a kind of a whole nother level in my mind. So let's look at what's going on here. We're going to move out of projects. We're going to move over to the bot running in Teams. Here's Teams. Again, this is Pavan. Again, Teams, but again, the bar on the left and all that. In other words, the familiar Teams interface. So what we're finding is that as people adopt Teams, more and more the end users are engaging through Teams to do their function, engaging with Teams, with the applications or with the service desk or with the support desk or with the HR or with purchasing. So more and more we're moving as much functionality much interface functionality into Teams. Of course, it's always there in SharePoint. You can send an email, you can go to the portal, but also now there with Teams, you have this way to engage with the application. So one way you can do it in Teams is this, and then I'll go into the bots. you can go here to a team and put up that, oh, where was it again? It was a tab. You can put a tab here that shows the whole portal interface right then and there, and it is here somewhere. And they put so much stuff in this this test team that it's always hard for me to find things. But hopefully your team is not this crowded with all this stuff. Maybe it's in the Pavon's teams right here. Let's look into Pavon here. Yeah, here we go. Meaning resources. Well, anyways, what it would do is it shows up as a tab over here. Is it here? No, you can. Well, you add a tab with the URL and it ends up showing the application right then and there. Or is it somewhere? Well, if I find it or someone reminds me from my team, I'll put it in here. But the idea is that it's going to show up the whole portal right here, and the person can interact with it inside of the. Oh, here it is. It's Demo Scott 2. That's what it is. It has my name on it. I like that. So, general. Okay, there it is, right there. This is what I'm going to show you. So this portal interface is showing up. You can make it the full screen. So now we're showing the portal that we were looking at, well, similar to what we were looking at earlier inside of Teams. So a person can be in Teams and have this like kind of, it's not quite an iframe, but it's that concept that is running inside this kind of quasi browser of Teams, and then doing all the functionality such as opening up a leave request right here. There's options. And the thing is, what we really enjoy, all our team, is talking to our customers and finding out, well, how can we work with the organizational structure or the mentality, you might say, or culture of your organization? Would they want to do this? Would they want to do bots? Would they want to do portals? And then applying the best technology that we can to whatever it's going to suit them most appropriately, so that, again, you want to engage and empower users and give them the tools they need. And sometimes you have to segue them from, say, they're used to using email, and then they get used to this and that. So there's a transition process of moving them from, or adoption, of user adoption. But I think when you get engaging interfaces and friendly interfaces that are easy to navigate, they get a lot more user adoption accelerates quite substantially. So let's look at the self-service bot over here in Pavon. And that was a little side road there to show you that the portal form will show up inside of Teams on a tab of a team. So now we're here in the bot. So I do stuff with the bot. Hi, bot. How are you today? Bot. Hi, bot. Hi, bot. Hi, bot. So it's going to say, okay, what do you want to do? You're going to have to, you can select an application. Now, what we did in this demo is we put in 2 applications. So to show you that there can be multiple applications, now it could be just one. They wouldn't need to go through a select application, or obviously they select HR or IT, but if you had multiple applications, in this case there's 2, you could go to either one and you could support it in this one bot. So we're going to go to the IT premium demo. It's IT premium, IT program, you might say. So it's going to say, okay, what do you want to do? Well, I have a question or issue. And the issue is what? It's going to go, okay, what is it? Well, my printer is having a paper jam. It's jamming. So what this does is it uses natural language processing, Lewis and all that stuff from Azure Cognitive Services to interpret this to be what it wants to return to you. The bot is, I don't call it intelligent per se, but it does have the software coding that will be able to parse out the language, and it could be natural language, what they say. So it says, okay, it's paper jam. I'm going to fix a paper jam, and it's going to give the user an opportunity to click that, go to knowledge base, and see information. Now, of course, this assumes you have a good knowledge base, and we can help you build one that looks, help you work with whatever information you have to build a knowledge base, so the bot has something to basically chew on when you ask it a question, something to search. And there's all kinds of strategies for bringing knowledge bases up to speed, or incorporating data, or whether you want to go to a SharePoint list or a SQL database. or FAQs. I mean, it's all kinds of strategies with that. Another whole story, but the point is here that the person asked a question, they got an answer, bada bing, done. They don't need to put a support ticket in and contact the support team, and therefore it is saving everybody a lot of time and they get the problem fixed. Best case scenario, I admit, but that can happen a lot more often than say you just send an email. If I have a paper jam, they don't get any responses back until the staff responds, and then it's comes, this way get instant. And this is also 24/7. It doesn't take vacations. And the other point is it gets smarter in a sense as you use it, because we are recording, we meaning you who use the bot, are recording all this in the what we call the bot telemetry. We know what the person's asking. The bot, let me say the bot statistics know. We, Crow Canyon, don't know. I don't mean to imply like we're some Facebook or something that's spying on everything. We're not like that at all. What we are here is saying that our system will record this information in your system so you can use it to build a better bot, to improve the bot, build a better bot. Sounds like a slogan, build a better bot. Well, we're going to use the telemetry here to make the bot better, build a better bot. I like that. See, we have this bot dashboard that the admins can access and look at, see what was answered, what was not answered, how many times it was, kind of like Google Analytics in some sense, who came to your website, all kinds of stuff. So then you could like improve this and say, oh, there are all these inquiries that weren't answered, and there's again, we can help with this with these analytics, but it gives you a sense of how you can improve this bot by able to answer, by updating your knowledge base with more information based on the questions that the people are asking and not getting answers to, for example. Okay, but in this case, they got an answer. They fixed the paper jam. They went out there, they fixed it, they're all done. They can say my problem is resolved. Or maybe it's not. Maybe they have something else. It wasn't really a paper jam, it was something else. So then they want to just submit a ticket. So they go submit a ticket. And now this will create a ticket inside of the IT help, whatever system, it has to be IT premium. It'll create a ticket in there. And here's a link to it if you want to open it up. Thank you for using it, blah, blah, blah. So that was submitted. It's in the IT help desk. If I can figure out wherever that is, maybe it's here, I think. Let's see. Is this the right back-end system? Well, let's take a look. Come on. Yeah, I think it is this one right here, right? My printer's having a paper jam. Yeah, number 274 was just created. So at that time, all the workflows and everything that you have running when a ticket is created, I mean, you do have workflows running when a ticket is created, right? You're supposed to, you can like inform the staff or set a due date or create subtasks or reassign it to somebody or whatever workflows you have running will run. And so now this is created in the backend system, kicks off any number of workflows you may have, and it's already well on its way to completion. The staff can come in and do whatever it does with custom actions or whatever to get that moving along. And meanwhile, this person's got because the workflow when a ticket is created sends an adaptive card back. Here we have that configured just to show what it can do. It sent an adaptive card back, number 274. Hey, Pavan, it's been created. No, here's the status. You want to view it. But most important is the end user gets this card and it could add notes and say, oops. I don't know if end users ever say oops, but oops, I meant to say printer that is in the in Sally's office. I don't know, keep it colloquial, right? At Sally's office, say the printer that is in Sally's office, and they could add that note to it. And or they could close it. And we're going to change this not to say closed, but ticket resolved or a closed ticket. But anyways, what it does is it can say, oh, geez, I fixed it and done. I can close this ticket. That was foolish of me to enter that in after all, or it's done. It's done. So, that way, using Teams, the end user is fully interacting with it. Okay, so let's look at ticket number 274 right here. We configured the bot to put the user's name and what he or she typed in as the title. And where's that comment about Sally's office? Right here. Oops, I meant to say the printer that is in Sally's office. So you see that the teams, the end user doesn't know anything about this back end. It's like, well, whatever, you know, it's back there somewhere. But that person is engaging with the system entirely through this. And you could set up all kinds of, you know, the Nitro workflows to send cards or whatever to the person to say, here's an update, or we closed your ticket, or whatever you want to communicate to teams using those adaptive cards. Pretty cool stuff, really. And Manish wanted me to show you how all that works. Let me see. Where are we? That was create the teams. You know, here we are in our workflow. Let's go over and look at if this has an adaptive card thing going on here. Well, it doesn't really matter because I can go in here to this workflow and show you by creating a new act. By the way, this is kind of like a, you know, promoting our workflow and all the amazing capabilities of it. You can come in here and do all these cool stuff with your workflows. You know, I mean, it's a whole webinar or more on itself, but it's really, really good stuff. Anyway, what we're talking about here is posting an adaptive card. And you can see that you can configure this card very specifically according to, okay, a workflow has a trigger. The trigger can be when the item's created, when it's changed, or it could be a timer, any kind of trigger. Under certain conditions, it's going to send this and enact this action called post a card, along with any other number of actions you want to do at the same time. Who's this going to go to? Well, it's going to go to the person who's in charge. I mean, the person who's on the ticket, which is the requester. It's going to go to the requester. We're going to lay it out with all this information, and then it shows you a image of it, and most important, you can add these actions to it. So the actions are like we had add notes and close. I'll show you some more of that when we go into the approve or disapprove process that's available inside of the self-service bot. So let's go here and do that right now. So we're gonna go here and say, we're gonna restart this. You know, you got this ticket, it's a paper jam thing, help. You know, it's just a way of restarting it. We're gonna select the application called HR. We're gonna go here. You know, kind of like changing hats a little here. So we're going to switch over to the HR and says, I want to request a leave. How do I request leave? Or how do I request? Or I want to request leave, or whatever way you want to phrase it. The natural language processing will interpret it correctly. And then it's going to say, here's how you can a leave request. Click this link to submit the leave request. You might have some other related things like family or medical leave you want to question about, but if you want to just submit a leave request, you go here, click it. It's going to open it up in the portal right here to submit a new request. And it's going to see it went from Teams to open up this nice portal form. And it's going to say, I need a vacation in August. Leave request is already submitted. Leave type is, let's say, earned leave. Manager is James. This is important to note. Manager is James. It's going to be for the second week of August, which is the 10th to the 14th. Where is it? 14. And what's he going to do? He's going to go going to the lake for a week. You know, whatever, the beach, lake. So Pavan's going off to the vacation. He's making a request and he's saving it. Okay. So now back in the self-service world, self-service bot world, we have James's teams. I just got a notice over here in James's team. Right here. This is James, the manager. Remember, he's the manager, right? He just got something there that says leave request approval. Hey, James, you need to approve or deny. Again, the active card's going out with the actions. Pavan, earned leave, he's going to the lake for a week, right? So he's going to approve or deny it. So let's be nice and say approve it. Before I approve it, notice that you can also click here to view the whole ticket if you want inside the HR request system. That is, and we're going to like hold a little suspense here where they're approving or denying it while we look at the HR request system back end. Where is that? Up here. I got a lot of tabs as usual going on here. Oh, here it is. Let me just go back to it directly. I'm sure it's one of the tabs at the top. So I'm gonna go here and see that Pavan's request was submitted here in the system. What I say, vacation in August, right? Request Pavan right here about a minute ago. So here it is here in the back end. So, you know, if he did want to go to the back end, but James doesn't have to go to the back end. He could be on his phone, right? A smartphone, Teams app, and say approve, deny. Here we go. Okay, we'll be nice and approve it. And you can add some comments. Have a great time. See you when you get back. See you when you return, or whatever, you know, whatever thing you want to say. The next time, take me with you. I don't know. So then you can do okay. You're entirely in Teams here. He made the Pavan made the request in Teams, and James approved it in Teams. And leave request approved. And guess what? Pavan gets a reply back right away. Your leave request is approved. Earn leave approved by James. Have a great time. Click here if you want to view it in a browser. And there it goes. So, you know, of course, what happens in the back end, the HR request has its own set of workflows going that you can adapt. Maybe you want to send a notice to HR PTO people that Pavan, you know, schedule this time, or write to a calendar, or notify the other team members, or even send a message to a channel, you know, that say, hey, Pavan will be away at the lake for the second week of August. You know, be sure to cover that time or whatever. So you can really start to tie a lot of business processes together through this really cool functionality. And then we're in Teams, and we're doing, like, essentially, you know, you could look at it this way. If I didn't show you the backend SharePoint, you wouldn't even know it exists, right? I mean, but it does. So if you do want to go in and monkey around with the, you know, hardcore backend stuff, you can, and it's not that hard. You can approve it from here too, I suppose. So a lot of things can go on here, you know. You sign it. I don't know if you signed a vacation request to somebody else, but you could do other things like close it or print it or whatever you want to do. All the normal functionality of the Nitro, the very impressive Nitro Studio, as we say. So here we are, and that kind of, like, you know, self-service bot has shown you a lot there. I showed you a lot about that, and there's a lot more we can do with it, and we can talk about how this can function in your organization and make it really add a lot of value to what's going on, and how you build the knowledge base, and what kind of answers you give, and what the flow of the conversation is. We call it conversational architecture, the CA of the bot, and how that's going to work. And I did show you that we have the telemetry showing you where, you know, the bot dashboard, where things do or don't are being answered properly. So there's a lot there. But let's go over to the staff support bot before we run out of time in this hour. We're always running out of time, right? So here we are in the another bot. So self-service is for the end users. The staff is for the take a guess, staff, right? So we go here and we say, hi bot. You don't have to say hi bot. I like saying hi bot. I don't know why. I just do hi bot. How are you? I don't know, I feel like I'm talking to someone, even though I'm not. It's really weird psychologically. I don't know. I always thought bots kind of, but you actually find yourself wanting to have a conversation with it. You know, hi bot, how are you today? What's going on? What's going down, bro? You know, that kind of stuff. So, not quite like that. Anyway, so hi bot, help. So what's the bot doing today? What are you doing, bot? Okay. Hey, it's here to help me. Good. Manage the service desk. So you can select an application, you know, again, HR or IT, if you have multiple ones, or whatever other ones you have, you can view your, oh, that's what I should have showed you over here. Let me take a quick step back here and show you this. If I am here, I can view, he can view his open requests right here at Pavan. I'm back in Pavan at the self-service bot. I just remember I should have showed you this capability also, that you can look at all your open requests that you may have. See, Pavan has a lot going on in there. Okay, back to the staff support. Same idea here. You can view your assigned requests. Same idea comes up with that list card, similar to what I just showed you. So let's go through it. Let's go look. I mean, who wants to talk about it all the time? Let's just look, right? So IT premiums demo selected. Okay, let's go here, and we're going to look at what you can do is view my assigned requests. So what's assigned to Pavan in the IT department? Let's take a look. Oh, what do you have assigned to yourself, Pavan? What are you working on? Come on, bot. There you go. And this is his assigned request. He's working on all these different things. This, like what shows up here, is configurable, and you know, all that. And then of course, if here I go again with the adaptive cards, but if you click it, you're going to get an adaptive card that shows what the actual details of that particular number 269 is. And then you can say what status it is, all that. And then you can start as a staff person, add notes to it, reassign it to someone else, you know, anybody in the organization. And you could resolve the ticket, add notes to it, or even view it in the browser. So you can do your work as a staff member at least the basic components of work, right here in the system. You can also go here and look at all the unassigned requests and assign it to yourself or assign it, pick it up or whatever. So you go here and look at all the unassigned requests in that IT help desk system. And here's the one, and you could say, okay, Pavan. Pavan's having, oh, that's the one we just entered. Remember, Pavan having to pick up the paper jam. We did that a little earlier. That's cool. So, all right, so there's no due date. You can add a note. You can pick it up, assign it to someone else, resolve it. This is Pavan as the staff member. Before we were in Pavan as the end user. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever do demos, but it's like you'd have to have about 14 browsers going to show all the different people and different personalities. But in this case, I'm trying to use Pavan in both cases. He's both a staff and he created a ticket, but now he's a staff. So imagine it's Pavan number 2 here doing the staff as a staff. He put on he's a staff member now. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense. So what are we doing here? Add notes, pick up, whatever. So in other words, adaptive cards with these actions are incredibly powerful way to do business process automation inside of Teams. It's really, this is really taking Teams to a new level, because not only, people talk about FAQ bots and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's good. All right, QA, ping ponging as we call it, question answer. But the really thing is when you get business process automation and incorporate, integrate Teams with a back-end application that has a wide range of functionality, you're really bringing business process automation to Teams. This becomes a functional way to use Teams to get effective work done and improve operational efficiency. How's that, huh? So what else can we do? We said some other things that Mr. Bot can do here. You can do a search. You can open up a particular request. Hey, what's going on with 267? And then you go here. And this could even be in a group chat. You could have the bot show up in a group chat, and you could be talking, talking about stuff. And you say, hey, whatever happened to ticket number 267? Yeah, I remember that from. So you can just go to, hey, bot, open up the request for 267. Now I can't remember if I have to put this into quotes or not, but let's see if we do open request 267. You gonna open it? Okay, I guess they wanted quotes. Okay. IT premium. Anyway, what I also want to show you here before we end this webinar is a couple other things. You can open the request case ID. You can search, but also you can create a request. Now this is where things are getting really interesting, because now we're bringing forms. Not that everything else wasn't interesting, but this is also interesting. Where you have this form. I showed you that when we went back to the portal form using the leave request. That's cool. But sometimes you just need a simple form to make a request. So the staff support person could be saying, oh, I just got a call from, Charlie down there in accounting, and he wants me to enter a request about, he's asking about something or other, right? He needs to upgrade his computer from Windows 7 to Windows 10 or something like that. I don't know. So you say, okay, I'm going to go put that in and make a request for Charlie here. The title, needs to upgrade computer. Upgrade, I'm going to put computer to Win 10. I mean, why would you put normal? Yeah, and the requester would be, Charlie would be in here. I'm not going to put Pavan again. So let's just, I'll call it Test Nitro. Charlie Test Nitro here, right? Charlie in accounting is still on Win 7, and assign the staff. We can assign it to Pavan again. He gets everything, due date. Let's try and have it done by the end of the month, end of the month next, let's say end of next week. And then we're going to submit it. And that requester is pretty bizarre, but usually be a person, Charlie the CPA or something. So here it is. It's now in the system that you created it using that simple form. And then again, it's telling you that you've been assigned it, because Pavan is Pavan's everything in this demo. He's the end user and the staff member and everything. But he just got assigned. That's another card. See, he just said that the end user is Test Nitro, another name for Charlie. He got assigned, and here's what it is. Need to upgrade Windows 10. You can take a look at it, add notes, assign it to somebody else, or resolve it. So we created, using that form, that create request form, a ticket. So you start to see how, was it 5 minutes left? I don't know. I'll get into question one. I'll jump off one last statement, then we'll go to question. Kind of the culmination statement, you might say here. So get ready. Using Nitro Studios, setting myself up for this. Using Nitro Studios Teams integration, as well as our self-service and staff support bots, will give your organization much greater capabilities inside of Teams and improve your operation efficiency and business process automation capabilities. And how's that for an ending statement, huh? Anyway, it will get in touch with us about sales, everything else. What I want to do in the last 5 minutes, actually, I want to do it even in the last 10, but we only have 5. James, questions? James?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, seems pretty quiet in the question realm, so I think you must have explained things pretty well.
That's good. And the thing is, what we really want to do is encourage people to take the steps forward to inquire more about this and possibly implement them in place. They really do have a positive effect on the organization. Now, there are cautions with bots that we want to be aware of, which is that if done wrong, they can be very frustrating for users. So there's a way, we study this, we do this, we implement these, so we have a very good knowledge. I want to say, let's say we have a knowledge in progress on how this best can work, and we could apply that experience to your situation in order to help you be able to adopt the bots or the portals or the Teams integration more effectively and quicker and with greater ease and more success at your organization. We hope you're using Teams successfully. I know it's, for some people, it's brand new, relatively new to the organization. So we want to show you that it can be stretched out to include this bot capability, as well as workflow integration and custom matching integration capabilities, so that we can really help you use Teams or SharePoint, Office 365 in the best way possible at your organization. So I think we're right at the top of the hour. I won't get into anything else. There's always more to show, more to explain, but really I'm looking to have, we are here at Crow Canyon looking to have conversations about where this can go and what we can do to help you move forward with improving away from that kind of InfoPath forms or legacy applications, or even just using emails or just using other systems, to what is really leading cutting edge stuff, so that you can take advantage of this and improve the operations. And really in the end, it's making your job easier and the employees and customers have, more satisfied with what service you provide. So I'll end with that. And thank you all for joining. James, no questions, right? We're good on the questions? Before I jump off?
Yeah, we're good. If anyone comes up with a question after this webinar, so shoot us an email. We're happy to have a conversation about it.
Yes, that's right, James. And I'm gonna put up that last slide that says how to get in touch with us. So let's see. Oh, we have another webinar coming up on August 13th. You can see that, but let's go to this screenshot so you can see the contact information successfully here. There we go. All right. So that's the contact info. Thank you very much. I hope everyone has a good day and a good weekend and a good vacation at the lake. Oh, wait a minute. That's Pavon doing that. All right. I'll just leave it on for a minute or two so you can, get this contact information in case you're interested. Thank you. Thanks, James.
No problem.